is a presentation of Time Warner Sports.
It's a Horizon League matchup between Wright State and Butler. We'll have it all next. Saturday evening in Dayton, Ohio, but we're getting things warmed up here in the Nutter Center. It's Wright State and Butler here in a Horizon League matchup here to start off 2004. I'm Geoff Kim, joined along by Raider great Mark Vest. Mark, both teams scuffling along with losing records, but let's first start with Butler. Butler just cannot shoot from the floor.
Well, they've struggled shooting the ball, but they're going to be the defensive juggernaut that they always are. They're not going to allow you open looks at the basket, and they're going to bang the glass. The Raiders are going to have to shoot the ball tonight to win this game.
Speaking of the Raiders, a terrific twosome. Seth Doliboa, Bernard Hollins, accounting for about half the point production for the Raiders, but they're going to need some help tonight.
Well, they really will. Probably the best duo in the Horizon League. They've had a stellar year so far, but the youngsters are stepping up. They're going to need those three plus their bench tonight against Butler.
It's the Raiders and the Bulldogs. Mark and I will come back with the starting lineups and the opening tip-off when we return on Time Warner Sports.
Wright State University basketball is brought to you by Pepsi, Cub Foods, Dodge, Wright State University, Morris Home Furnishings, MVP Magazine, and by The Yellow Book.
Away from getting this one here at the Nutter Center to start out the year of 2004. Along with Raider great Mark Vest, I'm Geoff Kim. We're pleased to have you along for this presentation here in the Horizon League. And Mark, as we look at the starting lineups first for both teams, I believe we'll have Butler here first. A very new lineup, if you will. Gone are three starters from last year's ball club that went to the Sweet 16.
Well, they've lost a lot, Jeff, to graduation, as you mentioned. But, you know, as good programs do, they simply reload. And they've got a lot of talented players on the floor. There you get a look at the five starters this evening for Todd Licklider.
Mike Monterey, one of the forwards, probably the man to most of us will be looking at here tonight, coming out of Cincinnati Moeller. For the Wright State Raiders on the other side, a very young lineup as we have come to know throughout this course of the season. A couple of seniors and three freshmen.
Well, and those freshmen have really gathered a lot of experience throughout this season, this early season. The Raiders 3-7, 10 games in, and there you see the Butler Bulldogs being introduced to the Nutter Center crowd.
And a couple of young coaches, to be sure, as far as the Horizon League is concerned. Of course, third-year skipper Todd Licklider has inherited a great program. Some great coaches right before him, in fact, in Barry Collier and Thad Mata, and he has continued on with the tradition.
Well, and Todd Licklider in his third year, Jeff, at 57-18. But you mentioned, you know, he inherited some very, very good players, a lot of talent in a great program, and he's kept it rolling.
And of course, on the other side, first-year skipper Paul Biancardi. First year coming out of Ohio State. That's where he was an assistant for the last 6 years. And of course, 7 years before that at Boston College, all spent with Jim O'Brien.
He's done a great job with this young team. There you see Paul on the center screen getting his thoughts together for his first matchup against the Butler Bulldogs. There you see his record, first season at Wright State, 3-7, 1-0 in the Horizon League early in the conference season. And he knows what these guys are all about. I mean, if there's anybody in the Horizon League that plays any kind of a similar style to Big Ten basketball, it's Butler. It's smash mouth defense, it's taking care of the basketball, and it's shooting the basketball. Hopefully this will be the first of many wins against the Butler Bulldogs for Paul Biancardi.
Something that Paul Biancardi's been used to has been great guard play over at Ohio State when he was an assistant, and I think as he comes over here, he might have have some youth at the point spot, but I think the guy he has to look forward to tonight has got to be number 0, Bernard Hollins.
Well, Bernard's got, he's got great senior leadership. There you see Bernard averaging 16.2 a game and 40 assists on the season. Great senior leadership so far this year with a ton of youngsters on this team. These two, Seth Doliboa and Bernard, have done a fantastic job.
As we mentioned at the top of our broadcast, Seth and Bernard accounting for about 50% of the point production, and that has got to change throughout the course of the season, not because you don't expect them to do or keep up that production, but you just need those youngsters to get some confidence.
Well, and you're starting to see guys step up. Drew Burleson starting this evening in place of Vovaseverovas. Just that more depth. It's a lot of people call Big D for defense, but a lot of coaches always say Big D means depth. And as you can develop more young players, as the Raiders are doing, Drew Burleson has been playing well of late. Going to get the start tonight, just one of many.
You talk about defense, and right now, the Butler Bulldogs in tremendous shape as far as on the ball or zone defense. No matter how you look at it, only allowing just a hair under 60 points a contest. That is spectacular.
Well, and they don't allow you to shoot the ball well at all. This year, 39% is their field goal defense, which struck me as being high for a Butler team. Usually they're down in the 34-35 range, but they simply do not let you get open looks at the basket. Everything is contested, and you get no second shots when the ball goes on the glass. They're very good at working defensively on the rebounding and getting the ball and going the other way.
Mark on the other side for Wright State, a very, very dreary November. However, an improving December, and if you're Paul Biancardi, you got to say, hey, it's a progression. I've got a young team. You're going to have to improve throughout the course of the season.
Well, there's been some bumps along this road, and there's also been some big wins for the Raiders, and there'll be more to come. It's a growing process, a work in progress, and a lot of these young guys have made great strides early in the season.
Doliboa and Ligon in the middle. The ball belongs to Wright State. We're underway here at the Nutter Center. It's the freshman Wood with the ball in between the circles. Hollins gets his first touch.
Butler starts in a man.
It's Cook with the ball, patties it back over for Wood. Here's Doliboa, catch and release from 18, no good. Tapped once, and this one rolls out of bounds.
It's going to be Raiders basketball. Alex Cook doing a nice job trying to keep the ball alive. Second shot's very, very important against this Butler team.
Hollins, a senior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, to trigger. Cook finds Burleson, 15-foot jumper, in and out.
Raiders with two pretty good looks at the basket. Seth Doliboa and Drew Burleson can't get either one of them to fall.
Avery Sheets at the point. Butler's got his first try on offense. Ligon has it taken away down on the block. Here's Wood. Hollins will reset.
Good patience by Bernard and Deshaun. Bring the ball back out, get your teammates involved, and balance the floor.
Wood with 20 on the shot. Just a minute gone by here at the Nutter Center. Here's Hollins from long range. No good.
Attaboy, Bruce. Butler, great job of boxing out that time. Bruce Horan getting a body on Alex Cook.
Sheets with the ball. There's a long-range three. Shot is no good by Horan. And both teams awfully cold here in the first minute and a half. Wood the kick out. Cook from long range in and out. And Lightfoot the rebound. Both teams rebounding here, starting out the ball game pretty well. Wright State coming in 34 rebounds a contest. Butler at a dismal 27 and a half, but you wouldn't know it here.
Yeah, Butler is not as big as they have been in years past, and not as much of a physical presence, but they really take care of the basketball, averaging less than 10 turnovers a game, and that's excellent.
Ligon posts up, Cook draws the contact. Beg your pardon, Burleson.
Pretty tough man defense down on a block that time by Drew Burleson. It takes the spin move, moves his feet. We'll get a chance to second guess the officials. There you see Drew, the only problem, he's got the hands in the lower back, and I think that's what the referee saw.
Long range jumper, no good. Ligon, the rebound, stick back, and Butler draws first blood 2-0.
That's where Butler will really hurt you. If you allow them second chance opportunities, off the offensive glass, they can really hurt you.
Burleson up top. Wood dumps it down low and is out of bounds, tapped out by the big man Ligon. 22 on the shot clock. Butler with the field goal lead. Great pressure defense on the entry. Here's Doliboa in the paint. Double clutch, puts it in and ties it up.
Big strong move that time by Seth Doliboa. Puts the ball on the floor. A lot of players defensively will come out, sit on him to shoot the perimeter shot. That time shows the ball, gets in the lane.
Team best 18 a contest to go along with 8 boards and a turnover.
Both teams struggling with the basketball. Butler very uncharacteristic now with 2 turnovers early in this game in about the first 3 minutes.
Only averaging about 10 a contest, so it is very uncharacteristic. Cook up top. 2-man game. It's a drive by Wood. Goes up with a floater, and we've got contact before the shot was thrown up.
Well, and I could hear Paul Biancardi from all the way across the floor screaming at the referees, get his hands off of him. And there you see Avery Sheets right there, grabbing and pushing, but that's Butler defense. You really have to be able to take that contact and work with it.
That's the first on Avery Sheets. Team fouls are even at 1. Doliboa sets a screen, receives, thought about the shot. Moves on the baseline and draws the contact by Ligon.
Good crossover move there between the legs, going right to left. Seth Doliboa really looking to put the ball on the floor offensively. We'll watch it again. Nice crossover right there. It's Ligon turned sideways and gets the personal foul.
Good ball movement on the outset, on the return. Here's Doliboa. Forecourt, kicks it out to Wood. Plenty of time on the shot. He drives to the rack. He missed the shot.
Good move by Deshaun. That's a shot he's got to get to go. If he can get around the shoulder of Avery Sheets, he's got to get to the backboard and complete that.
Durant gives back to Sheets. Top of your screen. You see Paul Biancardi calling out the defense. Sheets had an open look. We'll kick it out. Here's a 3. No good for Horan.
Raiders, good job of box out.
Wood leaves it for Hollins. Dumps it down low for Doliboa. Goes underneath and a whistle. Did he step out? Well, he got some contact.
I think they got Brian Ligon for his second personal foul. Seth Doliboa, all he can handle.
We have a timeout here at the Nutter Center with 15 minutes, 55 seconds remaining here in this first half. We are tied up 2 apiece. We're knotted up at 2 here at the Nutter Center, and Mark, as you alluded to right before our timeout, it's Mr. Doliboa giving the competition all he can handle.
Well, and he's working without the basketball. Butler's really playing him to spot up and shoot the ball, and he's working with it, putting it on the floor. There you saw him creating something on the baseline and drawing another personal foul. And I'm sure Butler coming into this game saying we cannot let him get on track from the perimeter because he can kill us and he can fill it up. And Seth doing a nice job taking what the defense will give him and working with the basketball and getting to the backboard.
Mark, it's a little early to be saying this, but it is an awfully big game here in the conference. Wright State 1-0 in the Horizon League. Butler 0-1. If Wright State can win here to get a 2-game edge in the conference, they'd be doing good. Meanwhile, Hollins gets his first bucket.
Well, you know, in conference play, the target is you want to win all your home games and split on the road. And boy, it's very difficult to go to Hinkle Fieldhouse and really expect to win. Big game here for the Raiders. So far early in this game, playing pretty well.
Geoff James into the ball game. He has the ball. He sets the screen for Sheets. The dump down for Ligon. Beg your pardon for Lightfoot. He missed the shot, and Doliboa the rebound. Doliboa on the drive. The kick out, the takeaway.
That time Seth just a little bit out of control.
Monserrat took it away from him. Monterey has the ball. Working on Hollins. Draws the double down and has it batted away and taken away, and we've got a foul. It's on the ball handler, Monterey.
Well, that's just great close defense on Monterey. You could see he really wanted to create something and back down the defender. And Bernard just as big as Monterey. Seth coming over to help out, smacks the ball away. Deschamps with his quickness gets the loose ball, and Raiders now 4-2. Just under 15 minutes left in the first half.
Hollins up top, 25 on the shot. Doliboa will spot up 3, miss. Monterey cleans the glass. Butler, again, as we mentioned at the top of our broadcast, doing a lot of things very well, except for putting the ball in the bucket.
Well, and that's hurt him here early this evening. Jeff, 1 out of 5 so far in this game, 20%.
Sheets mishandles. Lightfoot will go the touch. 12 on the shot. The lob entry, and we've got the contact. Burleson will draw the personal.
It's going to be 2 on Drew. We'll get a chance to watch it again. The lob pass down deep, and that time again, Drew just pushing off with the hands.
So 2 on the freshman out of Wheelersburg, Drew Burleson. Throw in to Sheets. The kickback, Monterey thought about it, opt out. Sheets will trigger inside the arc, no good. And Butler awfully cold to start this ball game.
And the Raiders doing a great job cleaning the defensive glass.
Good ball rotation for Wright State. 6 minutes gone by in this first half, a 2-point lead. Doliboa.
Monterey going to get called for the stiff arm in the back. That's what makes Seth Doliboa so very hard to guard. He's so big and he's so strong. And, you get a smaller player, he'll back you down. You really have to fight him physically. And Monterey get called for the personal foul there, and Seth saying, I'll just pull up and shoot the jumper. Who needs the contact? Raiders up 6-2.
4 points in the book for Seth Doliboa, averaging 18 per contest this year. Monterey flips to the other side, Sheets, and now down low to Lightfoot. Lightfoot low on the left, throws one up, no good. Butler cannot buy a basket here in this first half. Hollins, a stop and go, has picked off from behind.
Bernard's just got to take more time.
A big foul by Cook. Wow. He knocked over Dwayne Lightfoot like he wasn't even there.
Paul Biancardi in front of his bench, screaming that it was a clean block and wants all ball. We'll get a chance to see it again. There you see Lightfoot going strong. He got a lot of ball, but I think Alex also bumped him down below. Lightfoot going to go to the free throw line for 2.
Lightfoot shooting 75% on the season at the charity stripe, hits his first.
Well, he came in here last year and came off that bench across the way and just lit us up. 9 out of 10 on the floor. 5 out of 5 from the free throw line for 23 points. Really created some problems for the Raiders.
1 of 2 for the senior out of Louisville, Kentucky at 6-3. Sean Wood, the freshman out of Detroit, has the ball. Hollins up top. Cook dumps it down to the big man, Doliboa. That's been a big mismatch. I don't know why they don't keep the ball in his hands a little bit more.
Jeff James, a little undersized, pretty athletic and pretty quick. So you can see really trying to use his quickness to aggravate Seth. Boy, Seth just rising up.
That's 6 in the book for Doliboa. The senior out of Springboro, Ohio, it's 8-3.
Avery Sheets, a prototype Butler point guard.
I've gotten away a travel there. Here's Monterey. Nowhere to go, the kick out. James, now in turn back out to Sheets with 10 on the shot clock. Nice screen set by Lightfoot. Sheets the kick out, 5 on the shot clock. Great defense by Wright State. Here's Horan from 25 feet away, no good.
And Bernard again on the backboard, but
as it picked off by Lightfoot. Nice turnaround in the paint.
Bernard's got to take his time and just taking off and putting it on the floor. They're just chasing after him and poking the ball away from behind. You got to look and see what you got behind. You got to communicate with your teammates and know what you have trailing you.
Wood jump pass, back outside, long range shot, air ball. Looked like some contact.
There was a lot of contact right there. I guarantee you a college shooter doesn't shoot an air ball like that without getting smacked on the wrist. And Paul Biancardi, I'm sure, pleading his case.
We've got contact off the ball. Bova Severovas will pick up the personal, but we'll draw the timeout here with 11:25 left to go here in this first half. The Raiders lead it 8-5. We'll be back on Time Warner Sports in just a moment. Three-point contest here in this first half at the Nutter Center. Wright State leading 8-5. Coming up at the half, we'll talk with Wright State Athletic Director Dr. Michael Cusack. Talk a little bit about the Horizon League, about Wright State University, and talk about the tournament play coming up, obviously coming up in March. Can't wait, obviously.
Oh, it's going to be great, as it always is. You know, college basketball, the parity just continues to expand. You know, you see teams every year, people that you think are, you know, in the bottom tiers of college basketball, and they can play. You know, so it's a very exciting time of year. And Raiders going to have to battle their way through this conference season to get to the tournament. Hopefully.
Well, of course, last year the big story was Wisconsin-Milwaukee. The Panthers showing up huge in the tournament.
Well, that's, you know, you just have to be playing well at the time. It can be any team from the conference. You know, that's why you want to work to peak towards the end of the season. When you go into the tournament, you're really playing well.
Bruce Horan has the ball.
Zaki Boyd checking in the basketball game for Paul Biancardi. Raiders again, very nice defense. Boy, there's that athleticism.
Nice play by Geoff James in the paint. Sophomore out of Tampa, Florida, to make it a one-point contest. It's 8-7.
That's one thing he brings to this Butler team that they've sorely missed over the years. He's a real athletic forward, real athletic big guy. Deshaun Wood coming back, showing a little athleticism himself.
Boy, that was a silky move there by the freshman. Sheets feeds James once more. Severovas draws, and he draws the walk actually this time.
Great defense that time by Bova. Very difficult to guard when you've got somebody with the quickness of Geoff James down on that block. And Bova doing a nice job concentrating, moving his feet. James commits the turnover.
Wood looking for a screen, gives up for Zaki Boyd, getting his first touch. Hollins in the paint. Turn around, got it.
And you see the confidence level in Bernard as he backpedals down the court, really starting to raise up. Well, I tell you, when he gets his confidence and starts feeling it physically, he can take over a game.
Sheets on the drive, gives up James. Draws a steal from Wood. Wright State has numbers. The feed down low to Hollins. Posts up, turns around, no good. Sheets the rebound.
Tough shot by Bernard that time. Tough shot. You know, you get a steal at one end. Deshaun makes a great defensive play, and then you come down, you force a shot. You got to take time against this Butler team.
Sheets gets a great screen, fires away from 15, no good. Wood will handle the point. An improving freshman, to be sure. Made some mistakes early on in the first part of November, and towards the end of December really cleaned up his play.
Geoff James really being physical down on that block with Seth. Boy, again, great rebounding by Butler. You know, when that shot goes up, they find a body and they box out, and then they go get the basketball.
I have to ask in that situation, though, if you're Seth Doliboa, why go to the fadeaway?
Yeah, he can get up over just about any defender that Butler can throw at him.
Smallgan the miss. Wright State wants to run. Hollins on the stop and go will wait. He gives it up for Wood. His three no good. Severovas the rebound, but he's a pick clean from Sheets. Sheets the kick out, the give up, the get back. No shot to be taken here. Smulligan. And will they get Sorovonis again? I think so, and that's his second.
Well, the referee's not allowing any contact down on that block. Both ways, players really going to have to be cognizant. You got to keep your hands off it. You know, the way that you're taught to play when the ball's coming in, if a player's off the ground, give him a little forearm shiver in the lower back and just bump him off balance a little bit. There you see it right there, and referee's not going to get it. That's the type of defensive play you see all the time. Referee's making a point. Not in my game.
The bat out from Doliboa, so the entry will come from the bottom of your screen. Monzere triggers, Lightfoot gets.
10 of the 12 Raider points so far tonight, Jeff, in the paint. Raiders doing a good job getting high percentage shots.
It's a 5-point Raider lead, 12-7. Monzere gets a screen. And Butler being very deliberate. Here's a long-range three. No good for James Parker.
Well, that's one of those shots. You run down the other end of the floor and say, James, thank you very much. Tough shot that time from deep. Just comes in off the bench cold. Raiders come down. Very patient in their offense.
Floyd handles, gives to Wood, has it stolen away. Parker making up for his mistake on the offensive end.
Boy, he certainly did. Showed some great quickness right there. Got in the passing lane. That's what Butler really tries to do defensively. Active with the hands, scratching in the passing lanes and getting deflections.
Monzere working his way inside. The kick out to Sheets. 13 on the shot. Wright State playing great on the ball defense. Here's a long-range three, in and out for Parker once more. Hollins, great spin move to dish off, goes double, reverse lay in for two. That was pretty.
Well, Bernard going coast to coast. When your guards rebound, good things happen, and Bernard getting high up off the floor, strong with that body. Rebounds, takes it coast to coast, finds his running mate, Seth does the rest.
Wright State saying double your pleasure right here with under 7 to play, 14-7. Lightfoot with 12 on the shot. Now it's Sheets.
Raiders have done a great job of making Butler get deep into the shot clock, and we're down to 3.
Sheets on the try, puts it up, no good. And stoppage in play.
Somebody's hand went up through the bottom of the basket. Maybe we'll get a chance to see it again. Tipped the ball out. Paul Biancardi pleading his case that it wasn't my guy. Don't know why Butler would have tipped it out.
Well, we've got a timeout right here. The Raiders have the lead with 6:35 left to play here in this first half. We'll be back with more on Time Warner Sports. Goaltending has made this a 14-9 ball game, but I really think it's an odd goaltending call.
Well, it really is. The Raiders got deep into the shot clock. There you see Avery Sheets having to go strong. And, yeah, there you see Seth Doliboa sticking a hand up through there.
Shot had no prayer.
Well, you know, that's a tough play right there by Seth. Got to take your time and give the ball the opportunity to bounce off the rim. There you see Joel Cornett, quite a player in his own right, now an assistant coach for the Butler Bulldogs. It's nice to finally see him suited up in a real suit and not a basketball uniform.
And not abusing the Raiders and the rest of the Horizon League.
Yeah, because he gave us fits. Tremendous player for his size. What made him so dangerous, Jeff, at 6'9" or 6'10", he could go out on the floor and take your big man one-on-one, and he did it many a times. Very, very productive player for Todd Licklider.
Joel Cornett, one of the trifecta, if you will, missing from last year's Sweet 16 squad due to graduation. 6.5 to play here at the Nutter Center, a 5-point lead for the Raiders. Here's Hollins off the dribble, goes right to the rack, missed the shot. Sorovonis came down with it, he drew the contact.
Well, the Raiders just relentless on the offensive glass. Bernard using that athleticism and that strength to turn the corner and get it down the lane. Got it up on the backboard.
That's the first personal on James Parker. 6 team fouls now against the Butler Bulldogs. It's Wood trying to drive in. Parker would not let him have any room. Hollins guilty of steps.
Tough call for Bernard. You see him hanging his head, walking down the floor. Very, very confident offensively early in this game, trying to create things in the paint. That time referee's saying, nope, you're not going to create it that way.
Parker off the screen from Lightfoot. Wright State has done a great job denying the screen and roll. Here's James, puts it up, no good. Doliboa cleans it up.
Boy, Butler really struggling with the basketball, shooting at 4 out of 16, 25%. Getting some pretty good looks at the basket. Ball seemingly halfway down, rolls back out.
Wright State conversely getting 39%. Here's a steal. Parker going right to the rack, puts it through.
Well, you got to watch that kid when he's away from the ball. It takes no time at all to get in the passing lane, and off he goes.
A miniaturized 4-0 run, but in this case, in this ball game, a 4-0 run is a run. 5 to play here in this first half. 14-11. Here's Doliboa. Looking, puts it up, no good. Parker, another rebound.
Boy, James Parker getting high off the floor. James at only 6 foot, out of Chicago, Illinois. We got to travel. Yeah, he took that little bunny hop. A lot of times you get away with that thinking the referee's not going to care. And, I'm not getting any advantage. But
that's already 6 turnovers for the Butler Bulldogs, only averaging about 10 per contest. So this display has been a little uncharacteristic for them season long.
Todd Licklider having a little conversation across the floor with the referee, saying that happens all the time. Why are we going to call that tonight? Speaking of the little travel, ball tipped away, gets out of bounds. Luckily for the Raiders, they'll maintain the possession. Again, Butler with hands in passing lanes. Very difficult to make direct entry passes into the paint against this team. Always has been.
Sarapovas gets the entry. Boyd will get the touch.
Shot clock at 15. Raiders need to realize it did not reset.
Cook gets a touch. Come back into this ball game. Back out to Boyd with 6 on the shot. A high arcing shot. Missed everything. Sarapovas jumps up in the lane. Will have to put it up. He lost it again, but through the contact. Well, he got bailed out there.
Yeah, he really did. Butler's so good at using their hands when they're playing defense. You saw twice. Bova thought he was going to take it up. We'll get a chance to watch it again. Ball comes off the backboard. Bova gets it, takes his little power dribble. There's the hands right there, tipping the basketball away, and they get him again. Back to live action. Bova knocking down the first of 2.
Bova Sarapovas, freshman out of Vilnius, Lithuania. 65.5% shooter on the season at the charity stripe. He knocks them both through. 16-11 is your score. So you come up on 4 to play here in this first half. Ligon sets a screen for Sheets. Durant thought about the long-range shot. Will give it up for Sheets. The dump out for Ligon. He bodies his way through past Sarapovas for the score.
Ryan Ligon, very tough down on that block right there, the freshman. St. Petersburg, Florida. Strong with the basketball, gets it to go, draws the Bulldogs to within 3.
Cook draws a double team, finds Hollins. And we got a blocking call. It's on number 34, Geoff James.
Bernard that time doing a nice job to cover step on the dribble. Geoff James came defensively. Bernard there gives him a little stutter step, lets him react. Goes around him.
First on James, and Hollins to the firing line where he's shooting 61% on the season. One in the bonus. No good. Back tap belongs to the Butler Bulldogs. And we have a timeout on the floor. 3 minutes, 27 seconds left to play in this first half. It's Wright State 16, the Butler Bulldogs 13. We'll be back with more on Time Warner Sports. 16-13 is your score at the Nutter Center here in this first weekend of January the 2004. A couple scores to update you on. UIC falling to Detroit today, 56-48, and Youngstown State falling to Loyola, 85-78. But Mark, that big score, that first score, Detroit beating UIC, that drops UIC to 0-2 in the league.
Yeah, they're struggling early on, and you know that's what, if you're a team like a Wright State, that's what you love to see. You love to see the upper echelon of team get beat up a little bit, get bloodied a little bit early, and bring them back down to earth so they don't run the conference and only maybe have 2 or 3 losses and make it very difficult for you to stay close. So very, very good news for Wright State as well as Butler. Butler off to an 0-1 start. Loss for UIC, enabling Butler to stay that much closer to the pack.
One thing we had wondered about coming into this ball game would be defense, and of course that means the battle of the boards. Wright State winning that battle right now, 16-11.
And that's a big battle in this game. You've got to control the basketball, and the most important part of defense is once it's on the glass, going up there and scraping it down. And Raiders have done a very nice job so far this evening.
Moran throws it down low. Here's a shot. No good by Nick Brooks, and we'll head the other way.
And the Raiders continue to rebound. Bova, Alex Cook, Bernard Hollins, and the list goes on. Great defensive help that time by Bova. And then you see Bova immediately going high up off the ground. Great hands for a young kid. Gets fully extended, makes himself pretty big and pretty long.
Brian Legan draws his 3rd personal. He'll come out of the ball game. Under the bonus, falls through. Sarah Bova says her first name is Vladimiris, but his friends call him Bova, so will we.
We'll stay with Bova.
Bova makes them both.
Raiders 4 out of 5, 80% here in the first half from the free throw line.
Here's Haran with the ball. Raiders, 3 minutes to play here in this first half.
Raiders extend the zone defense. Try to get in passing lanes and make it very difficult for those diagonal passes into the paint. Shot clock at 15.
Sheets, the return to Haran, out on the sideline. Monserrat, the dump down low, and he throws it past James. That was a great play design there, just couldn't execute it.
Well, it really was. Not a bad looking pass from Monserrat. James just not able to gather it in. Jeff James lets it get through his hands. Mike Monserrat, pretty good assist guy for a forward. Does a nice job with the basketball, handles it pretty well, and can shoot the 3 when needed.
Boyd finds Hollins in the forecourt. Doliboa. The give back to Hollins. He throws it up, and it's blocked by Monserrat.
Well, there's that athleticism that Butler has sorely needed over the years. Able to go up and contest shots like that.
Brooks, nice step around, fires from long range. It's a 2.
Nick Brooks, 6'5" freshman. A lot of youth on this team for Todd Lickrider. Draws the Bulldogs to within 3 at 18-15.
Freshman Zachy Boyd with the ball, 20 on the shot. Cook into the paint, getting everything he can handle from Sheets. He throws one up, and the prayers answer.
Good, strong move by Alex Cook that time, realizing getting deep into the shot clock, got to create something. Gathered himself in the paint right about the dots and went strong, converted. Raiders up 5.
Freshman out of Auburn, Indiana, averaging 7 a ball game. He gets a field goal there. It's 20-15. Monserrat draws a double team, has it picked off. There's Zachy Boyd up ahead of the pack. He'll take it to the rack and miss the shot. The ball rattles out of bounds. It'll stay up front. Boy, that was a comedy of errors.
That's a shot Zachy's got to convert. A couple times in this game, I think Deshaun had one where he got to the backboard. Zachy had one. You've got to finish those kind of shots.
Dwayne Lightfoot will re-enter the ball game for the Butler Bulldogs. We'll see Mark Starkey's first action in for Wright State. 6'6", 210 pounds, a senior out of Youngstown. We have a timeout on the floor. It should just be a 30 right here, so we'll keep things right here. So a $1:12 left to play here in this first half. Wright State clearly has the advantage, and it's not because they've shot well. They haven't. It's because they've rebounded well.
They've rebounded the basketball, plain and simple. They've gone up on the glass and gotten it. Butler's turned the ball over 8 times, and thanks to a lot of defensive pressure. Here we'll see a little defensive pressure. Zaki Boyd stepping over to help out on the spin dribble. And boy, if we could stop it right about here. Zaki going strong. Avery Sheets coming over, maybe gets a hand on the ball. And Zaki unable to get it up on the square. Boy, as these freshmen get stronger and grow and become more mature, those are the kind of shots you just take it up at the rim. You either get fouled or you make sure the ball goes through the basket. Those kind of things will come with experience.
There you see Bernard Hollins trigger on the baseline. Dump in goes to Wood. Sean's done a nice job of handling the ball tonight. Bernard, the kick back. Here's Doliboa. Fires 15 feet away, got 2 more.
Again, off the dribble. So many times in the past, the book was on Seth, just a spot-up shooter. If you can meet him at the spot, he won't be able to get the shot off. But now with the improved ball handling and the strength, able to put it on the floor in that quick first step, able to turn the corner on people and get that shot off.
Doliboa's in double figures. Here's Lightfoot on the other end, and we've got a foul. Lightfoot had a very nice move to the basket, and Alex Cook picks up the personal.
Raiders now with Drew Burleson, Bova Severovich, and now Alex Cook, all with 2 personal fouls. And Paul Biancardi not taking any chances with only 35 seconds left in this half. All 3 of those gentlemen taking a seat on the bench to prevent against that 3rd personal foul.
1/10 of a second difference between the game and the shot clock, and got stuck in the lane. No, it called for a timeout. Called for the TO.
Yeah, I think Todd Licklider was hollering for it way before Jeff James ever put it on the floor and got out of control there in the lane. And I think he realized, he saw the wheel spinning at Jeff James's mind and said, no, we need to slow this down. We need to talk about it. Very important possession right here. 32 on the shot clock, 31.3 on the game clock. So no shot clock issue here. Todd Licklider, go ahead and take the timeout.
Well, this is a very far cry from the team that we've seen in years past, especially last year's ball club as far as the Bulldogs. Lost Brandon Miller, Joel Cornett, and Darnell Archie, who was arguably the best and clutch 3-point shooter in the entire nation last year.
Well, and you know, throughout this first half, that's what's been ailing them. They haven't been able to shoot the ball. Darnell Archie in past years, he'd have been firing it up from everywhere and probably would have had 3 or 4 threes by this point. Would have been a whole different ball game. So you're right on the money. Just haven't been able to shoot the ball. 7 out of 20 here in the first half for the Bulldogs.
And Butler has already committed 8 turnovers in the ball game. So they're really not helping themselves by poor shooting and by the fact that they keep letting the ball go.
Well, conversely, the Raiders have done a pretty nice job of taking care of it themselves. Only 6 turnovers. 14 of their 22 points have come in the paint, so Raiders going strictly high percentage.
Butler will play for a final shot. Avery Sheets just simply holding onto the ball. And here we go. Sheets throws up a runner. Shot is no good. Loose ball belongs to Starkey. He goes to Hollins. He throws it up at the buzzer. No good. It wouldn't have counted anyways, and we have come to the end of the first half. Your score at intermission. Wright State 22, the Butler Bulldogs 15. When we return, we'll come back with Wright State Athletic Director Dr. Michael Cusack right here on Time Warner Sports. Intermission, where your score at halftime. It's Wright State 22, the Butler Bulldogs 15. And we are now joined by Wright State Athletic Director, Dr. Michael Cusack. Mike, how you doing?
Good, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing good, and of course, doing very good to see a Wright State lead here at intermission.
Well, it's ugly, but at least it's a lead, that's for sure.
But you know, of course, Mark and I talked throughout the course of a ball game. What's your take so far in the first half? Obviously, you said it's ugly, but you got to like the play of Seth Doliboa.
Yeah, and we're playing good defense and actually rebounding very well, so they're not getting second shots. And we got into the one-on-one, and they never did. So I think we got 6 points or so there. I mean, it hasn't been a 3 yet, so if it's going to be played like that, that's probably to our benefit.
Talking about our Wright State Raiders here in Dayton. Looking pretty good as far as the youth being served. Deshaun Wood playing very well here in this first half. And, of course, the seniors doing very well. Of course, Seth Doliboa leading the way with 10 points. And Bernard Hollins doing his usual thing, even though he's only chipped in with 4 so far.
Well, he's gotten some good rebounds, of course, and which he always does. Offensively, he looks like he's struggling a little bit. The freshmen are playing well, including... Severovich came in and did a nice job. Zaki did a nice job. Deshaun seems to always do a good job. And, Koch had a nice shot right there at the end. So they're doing a nice job. They're really getting after it.
I bet you didn't think you had to do any analytical work tonight, huh?
No, and I didn't think I was going to do any because I think, wasn't somebody else supposed to be on tonight? Oh, Bob Lovell. Who thinks he's an analyst also from the league. That's right.
Let's talk a little bit about the league in general here. The Horizon League changing a few things up with the new playoff format where individual teams will get to host that first round. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Right, we did that with the idea, the goal was for conferences of our size, at our level, to try and get more than one bid. And what we thought would happen is by having the top team host, that obviously gave them a chance. By having buys early on for those who finish higher in the league, that gives the best teams the best chance to get in. Kind of eliminates the opportunity for that wild upset. For example, Green Bay against Butler, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago in Cleveland. So we decided to do that. Last year we had 2 teams in. We had a team in the NIT, so it worked very well. I thought you were going to ask me about how things are going in the league, and I'll tell you what, I have no idea what's going on here. I see today, Green Bay beat Butler first night at Butler in the first game. Then Detroit beat UIC at UIC today after having gotten pounded by Kent State. Milwaukee lost to Air Force by about 20, so it's just a crazy time. I have no idea how anybody could figure out what's going on.
Yeah, with UIC now dropping to 0-2 in the conference. And right now, the Butler Bulldogs, this is a team that went to the Sweet 16 last year. Now, they lost a lot to graduation, but you don't expect them to see, they are behind right now, and if Wright State keeps it up, they'll be 0-2 in the conference.
Well, they've won some good games, and, they're not as big, obviously, as they were, and certainly not as athletic in the big places, and their point guard last year was both a scorer and a ball handler. So, they lost a lot, but they're still very athletic, very strong. Neither one of us is shooting very well. I don't think there was a single 3 in the first half.
There wasn't.
If the game's going to be played around the basket, we're really doing a pretty good job of rebounding.
Mike, as you well know, Youngstown State became a member of the Horizon League a couple of years ago. Any thoughts of expansion on the horizon?
Well, I think that most of us feel like 10 teams is the right size. It's the easiest way. Then you have travel partners. It's very economical because if you go, for example, if Cleveland and Youngstown are travel partners, you go there, you play 2 games, you don't have to go back and forth. This year, I think we make a trip to Milwaukee or Green Bay, and that's the only game we play. With 10 teams and travel partners, that would never happen. So I think what we really would like to do is find a 10th team. The key is, who is it? And does that team give us, as well as the travel partner and as well as other sports, but does it give us men's basketball? And that's very important.
The thing I think I really need to bring up, and along with expansion, is with the ACC and the Big East making those moves that they did earlier this year, as an athletic director, how do you perceive things like this when you see moves like that and a structure being changed, especially a long-time structure like in the ACC?
Well, I think in that situation, my feeling is, it was football driven, and they now have 12 teams, so they now are eligible to have a conference championship tournament, a championship game. You need at least 12. The Southeast Conference and the Big 12 already does it. And I think they'll be next. The Big East now is in a survival mode. They've got a bunch of schools that do not play Division I basketball. The traditional old Eastern, mostly Catholic colleges that basketball is their game. Now, the football folks got kind of, I think, out of joint there. So right now they have a mix. Down the road, I think it's conceivable that may split, that those basketball schools could split away, football schools could split away. A lot of it depends maybe possibly on what the Big Ten does, what Notre Dame does. So a lot of it's football driven. Within our conference, a lot of our guys say, well, gee, how do we take advantage of that? Well, some of the moves were not at the top level either. Conference USA had some movement. The Sun Belt has some schools. They want to go Division 1A in football. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. Are there some opportunities there? We have to look and see.
Well, here's the future thoughts on expansion. Of course, we're looking very forward to March, especially with the way Wright State has played their first conference game. And, of course, so far in this first half, things are looking up for the kids.
They're going to be very good. I think that, it's one of those things. A lot of these schools, if they're going to get us, I think they have to get us this year because I think we're going to get better and we're going to get stronger. But, so are the other teams. Butler is not, they're just not where they want to be yet, but they will be. They're very good. They always are good, and they're a school that I think recruits well, and they had good coaching. But throughout the league, there's good coaching and so on. So it's really hard for any program to go in and just run away from the rest of the pack anymore.
Well, Mike, the time with you goes by so fast. Thanks for joining us here at the half.
Thanks, Jeff. Good seeing you.
And when we return, Mark Vest will rejoin me. We'll break down the first half and look ahead to half number 2 when we return on Time Warner Sports. 22-15 is your score at intermission from the Irvin J. Nutter Center, along with former Raider great Mark Vest. I'm Geoff Kim. We're pleased to have you along here in this Horizon League ball game. And as we look to break down things here in the first half, it was a whole bunch of Seth Doliboa.
Well, it really was. And looking at the stats, a whole lot of Seth Doliboa and not a whole lot of Mike Monserrat for Butler. Did not score in that first half. Seth Doliboa, 10 points, 4 rebounds in 20 minutes, 5 of 9 shooting. Seth Doliboa, big first half for Paul Biancardi.
And as we look at the halftime stats here, just Wright State really clearly dominating this ball game in every really facet, even to some degree field goal shooting, but I wouldn't even call that domination, but everything else has led up to that domination.
Well, both teams, early in the half, Butler was not shooting the ball well at all. They got themselves righted there towards the end of that first half and finished with that 33% from the field. Raiders 38%. But the big one, the rebounding. Wright State out-rebounding Butler, which is happening to Butler more and more this season, getting out-rebounded. Raiders doing a great job on a defensive glass.
Again, your score at intermission, Wright State 22, the Butler Bulldogs 15. When we come back, Mark and I will look ahead to half number 2. It's all right here on Time Warner Sports. Score at intermission. Wright State looking to get to a 2-0 record in the Horizon League, as we see local sportscaster Guy Fogel from Channel 2 here in town.
Guy looks like he's sitting at home on the couch, relaxing.
He doesn't know he's back at work. So as we look ahead to half number 2, a 7-point lead for Wright State. Mark, obviously, our rooting interests here a little bit towards the home team, the Wright State Raiders. What can they do to keep up this lead? Well,
I think in the second half, they need to take even more care of the basketball. There were a couple situations in the first half where they rushed shots, they rushed things in their offense where if they take a little more time, they work it inside, they get a layup. if the Raiders can shoot well in this second half, I think they can win this basketball game.
On the other side of the coin, it's the Butler Bulldogs, only 15 points in the first 20 minutes of play. They've got to do something about their field goal shooting.
Yeah, normally they like it when the score is low, but not because they're not shooting well. They like to keep it low because of their pressure defense, but that first half they really struggled. 7 out of 21, 33%. Laid a goose egg, 0 for 7 from behind the three-point arc. I think that's going to change here a little bit in the second half.
You think we'll also get a bigger case of feed the bear, in this case the bear being Seth Doliboa?
Well, I think the Raiders will really look to go to their seniors. I think they'll look to go to Bernard. I think they'll look to go to Seth. And the quality thing about those two guys, they'll respond. They'll step up. They'll take it on their shoulders. And, you know, the rest of these guys, a lot of people have gotten a lot of good playing time. Drew Burleson, Bova, a lot of guys that keep Boyd. They've all stepped up. Deshaun Wood, the list goes on. So these guys are at the point where they're not freshmen anymore. They're sophomores. And we got a 20-minute battle here. Raiders up 7.
And how about the play of the freshman Deshaun Wood? I have to say, I'm really starting to get impressed with the play. I don't think he has any assists in the book as of yet, but I don't think when you commit turnovers, I think you're doing just as good a job as if you're trying to put up assists.
Well, there you see him in your picture, and Paul Biancardi, I'm sure, coming into this season realizing I'm going to have a freshman point guard. What? You know, I just need somebody just to take care of the basketball and don't make mistakes with it. Boy, Deshaun has done so with flying colors.
Sheets with the ball. Nice denial by Wood to move anywhere. The dump off. Here's Monserrat working in, throws it up, no good, and a nice long-armed rebound by Doliboa and a foul.
Well, Mike Monserrat, you could see it in the first possession, I'm sure, at halftime. They talked about we've got to get him involved in the offense. And boy, they throw it down to him on the block. And Bernard tries to draw the personal foul. We'll watch it again. Monserrat's one of those guys, you know, he looks like a driveway ball player. He's just big, strong, and back you down and trying to get a layup out of you. That time, Bernard just a little too much to handle.
Here's Doliboa, the dump in. Wood, oh, great touch pass down to Burleson. Nowhere to go, though. Here's Hollins, throws it up, no good.
Well, we talked about some forced shots, and I think that was another example of one right there. Bernard thinking, I've got it in the paint, it's got to go up. Not the case. Got to take a little more time with the basketball, make every position count.
Here's another takeaway. Burleson up ahead. Wood ahead of the pack, lays it in.
Great kick out, Drew Burleson. Keeping his head up, handling the basketball. Deshaun finishing in transition. Raiders now up 9 at 24-15.
Whole bunch of bodies for the Butler Bulldogs waiting to come on in. Here's Sheets, two-hand pass inside. Lightfoot, no good. And another rebound for Doliboa.
Boy, what a difference a year makes. Last year, Dwayne Lightfoot, he's throwing those things up with his eyes closed, and they're going in. 9 out of 10 last year from the floor. Whole different situation here.
Burleson passes to another freshman in Wood. 15 on the shot. Doliboa on the drive, taking it right to the rack, goes underneath the hoop, no good. Ligon clears, and here comes Butler. 2 minutes underway here in the second half. Lightfoot off the mishandle, no good. And again, Butler cannot buy a bucket. Here's
Raiders
Wood.
really looking to run.
Hollins goes underneath for Burleson, put it in, and one. Drew Burleson will go to the line, an old-fashioned three-point try coming up, and the Raiders own a double-digit lead for the first time tonight.
We've talked about it so many times. The first 5 minutes of a second half, so very important, and I'm sure Todd Licklider has talked to some of his guys at halftime about coming out and getting off to a strong start. But it's the Raiders getting off to the strong start. Drew Burleson doing a great job taking the body contact and still with enough control to kiss it off the glass, and he goes to the free throw line.
Bruce Horan draws his first personal. That's 2 team fouls already here in the second half for the Butler Bulldogs. No good on the free throw attempt.
Not a pretty miss that time by Drew. Raiders now with the 11-point lead. You really have to concentrate defensively and not give up threes, which can get Butler back in it quickly. And Boy, just as I mentioned it.
Nick Brooks puts down the tray, and it's 26-18. Back to an 8-point lead.
That's what you really don't want to happen. You don't want Butler to get untracked offensively where they can score in bunches.
Cook plays Doliboa, spots up from long range, no good. Tap back, it belongs to Nick Gardner for Butler. Gardner came in on that last dead ball, and Cheech has it now. There's a drive from Andy, and shot's no good. There's Wright State with numbers. 2-on-1. Hollins to give back Wood, throws it up and in.
Great 2-on-1 game. Bernard drawing the defense, taking the ball as far as he could. Drawing the defense, kicks it over. Deshaun finishes.
28-18.
Deshaun now with 6 points in this game.
Parker from long range, no good. Volleyball match, and it belongs to Doliboa. He wants to push it up the floor. Behind the back dribble, taking it right to the rack and one. Coast to coast for the senior Doliboa.
Todd Licklider can't be very happy. His guys are getting the ball ripped off the glass, and the Raiders are going coast to coast, and his guys are jogging. We'll get a chance to see it again. Look at all the blue shirts trailing. Great ball handling that time behind the back finger roll. Seth Doliboa going to the free throw line for the 3-point play. Seth now with 12 points in the game.
Shooting well at the charity stripe, he completes. He's now an 86% shooter at the charity stripe this year. A far cry from what we saw 2 years ago. Of course, his brother Kane led the nation in free throw shooting a few years back.
Couple shooters in that family.
Parker, dribble drive, throws one up over the big man Doliboa and scores.
Good try by Seth, stepping up defensively, and James Parker really has come up big here in this game. A lot of pressure defensively. Scored a couple big baskets on the offense.
Here's Horan, long range, three, no good. Boy, plenty of bodies on the floor. Both teams really want to get after it now. And now we have a timeout. 14 minutes, 26 seconds left to play here in this ball game. And it's a 15-point Wright State lead, 35-20. Back to floor on Time Warner Sports after this short timeout. With Mark Best, I'm Geoff Kim. Court side, it's Wright State 35, Butler 20, and a potential blowout in the making. But Mark, as you and I were talking in the timeout, this is where the Raiders have to be careful.
Well, you really do. You can't become complacent and start patting yourself on the back and say, we got Butler down by 15. Because there's 14 and a half minutes left in this game. The way these guys can shoot, if they get on track from behind the arc, they'll erase a 15-point lead in no time. And they've proven they can play defense and shut you down. So the Raiders need to stay with what got them here, and that's 26 points in the paint. 26 out of their 35 points have been scored in the paint.
Doliboa from long range, no good. And a high-flying rebound for Jeff James.
To say the least, the 6'6 sophomore out of Tampa, Florida, really adds a great deal of athleticism to this Butler team.
James on the block. Kicks it back out. Brooks on the drive, and he has it taken away. Wood on the steal. Takes it right to the rack, behind the back. Oh, and he puts it through. What a move.
Well, that's a gutsy move right there by a freshman. 1-on-2, taking it strong, feeling it. And Bernard that time trying to guard Bruce Rand in the open court. Bruce Rand, the 6'3 sophomore guard out of Newcastle, Indiana, where they've been known to play a little bit of basketball.
Oh, you bet. Some legends have played there.
Oh, without a doubt. Hotbed for high school basketball.
That's the first on Bernard, the team's first foul here in this half. Brooks, the dump off. Monzere, very quiet in this ball game. Post up Hollins, draws a double down. Nice interior pass to Ligon.
Well, that's the defense you want to play, though. You get Monserrat to commit himself. In turn, you get Seth coming off the backside, using his leaping ability to get up on the glass and block shots. And Monserrat, to his credit, finding the open man diagonally across the lane.
Wood shut off. Cook dumps it off. Saravovis. Clutch. No good. Draws the contact.
That's a huge mismatch right there. You've got Vova at about 6'7", about 230, against Bruce Horan, 6'3", down on that block. You got to get him the basketball, and Vova does the rest.
That's number 2 on Horan, and 4 team fouls now against the Bulldogs. No good on the first attempt.
Boy, got to make free throws. Got to make free throws in a game like this.
No good. Brooks clears it. Horan will run the show. 7 minutes into the second half. Monserrat, the kick out. Parker spots up for 3. No good. Cook clears it. Wood wants to run. Finds Doliboa. Cuts into the paint. Scoop shot up. No good. And they're going to call it an offensive foul on Doliboa.
Yeah, that's pressure that the Wright State Raiders don't need offensively. You know, you go in transition like that. Bruce Horan doing a great job sitting down in the lane. Seth trying to change directions that time. And I think that's what Paul Biancardi is screaming about. You know, how can that guy get there if my guy's changing directions?
Horan the miss. Hollins the rebound. Spin dribble. And he drew contact. Nick Brooks will pick up the personal.
Bernard that time, I think he realized, hey, I might have just dodged a bullet right there. Pushing the ball in transition maybe a little bit too quickly. I think he was starting to find himself a little bit out of control, but Ligon reaching in right at the last minute right there and committing the personal foul.
Bernard the entry goes to Cook. Cook thought about the spot up. Now we'll spot up from 18. No good. And a foul.
Well, you could see that from a mile away. Vova just put so much pressure on a guy when he's trying to box out, because Vova is so active on the offensive glass. Personal fouls really starting to pile up on Butler.
Throw into Cook. And it'll be one of the bonus from here on out.
Boy, and with 12.5 minutes left in the game, that's a big benefit to the Raiders.
Wood looking for a clear out, gets a double screen up top. Plenty of time on the shot, 20 on the clock. Here's Cook, got away with the travel, throws one up and in.
Boy, when it rains, it pours. And we got a lot of rain outside, and we got some rain inside. Boy, big touch right there, Alex Cook.
You know, so much rain tonight in the Miami Valley that you might have to start thinking about building arcs. Regan on the other end.
Good decision there by Seth to go ahead and give the basket. Don't try to block it and draw a personal foul and stop the clock. Now you got to start thinking. You don't want to run clock and delay, but you got to start thinking, hey, if I foul, the clock stops. You know, and you got to play smart. You got to play smart with the clock in mind.
Doliboa off the screen. Defended well by Monserrat, and Mike will draw the contact.
A couple pretty strong players going at it right there. Mike Monserrat, powerfully built young man at about 6'7", 230, sitting down, playing good, tough defense. Seth with a little more height, putting the ball on the floor. Monserrat, there you see him in your screen. His third personal foul.
Drew Burleson checks back in, as well as Zaki Boy. So Doliboa to the firing line. A perfect 1 of 1 at the charity stripe tonight. No good. Back tap. Initially saved by Boy, but it's carried out by Monserrat, who'll take it up front.
Raiders 5 of 10, 50% from the free throw line. Very, very lucky to be up 15. You know, if you shoot like that in a close game, you lose a close game.
Monserrat from long range, no good. Seth tries to save it, and it's out of bounds. We have a timeout on the floor. 10 minutes, 54 seconds left to play in this ball game, and the Raiders are up comfortably, 39-24. More from the Nutter Center coming back on Time Warner Sports. 39-24 your score here at the Nutter Center, and again, we can't help but emphasize a big game even in January. A win here would propel Wright State to 2-0 in the Horizon League, and it would put a perennial favorite in the Butler Bulldogs down to 0-2.
Well, and, huge confidence builder for the Raiders. They're thinking, they've gotten thumped in a couple games on the road. They've had, the Tarver kid up at Akron puts 44 on them, and, a lot of things not so positive have happened to this team, but they continue to come back. They continue to come back. A credit to their leadership. Paul Biancardi and his staff will not allow these guys to quit. They continue to learn, buy into the system, and come back, and it's another day. And boy, when you got another day, look what can happen. You continue to do positive things, and you get people like Butler down 15. This would be a huge win for the Raiders in early conference season.
Double screen set for Hollins up top. Plays Doliboa. Wood at the free throw line, kicks it out. Here is Hollins for three, no good. The rebound stick back by Doliboa.
Todd Licklider cannot be very happy about that. When you're down 15, you simply cannot allow second shots. And Seth Doliboa was there, Andrew Burleson. Could have been either one of them.
Brooks will fire three. He'll hit it, knock it down. Nick Brooks. Here's Hollins. Only needs 6 more points to take over the number 7 spot in the all-time Wright State Raiders scoring list.
Bernard's been around. He's played a lot of games. To his quality, and his credit rather, he's been durable over the years. He's got logged a lot of minutes for this program.
Hollins lost it off his foot, gets it back, dumps it off Burleson. It's off his hands. It's turned over.
Bernard right there. Bernard's got to realize, hey, we're the ones with the 41 on the scoreboard. They're the ones with the 27. That time just getting a little out of control with the basketball.
And you did warn against this. A little slop that we're seeing here in the last couple of minutes.
Well, the Raiders, luckily, have been able to maintain this 14-point lead because Butler can't put the ball in the hole. They've really not shot it very well. Seth Doliboa going to get whistled for the personal foul.
Comes before the shot.
Brian Ligon, 6'7" freshman, St. Petersburg, Florida. We'll watch it again. Boy, when you get stuck behind somebody in today's college game, it's going to be very difficult to not commit a personal foul. Ligon playing pretty well with a lot of confidence for the freshman.
2-3 setup for Wright State.
Just a different look. Make Butler come down and make some different adjustments. Burleson, good ball defense that time. Seth Doliboa, again, flying high for his 9th rebound of the evening.
Wood off the dribble, throws it up, a floater that misses. Doliboa the rebound, throws it back up, and no good. The tap back belongs to Burleson. He throws it up and in. 3 looks in the bucket for Wright State, making a difference.
That's just flat out no quit. No quitting this dog, and boy, you love to see it. A team coming in at 3-7. They could be pulling the stakes up and folding the tent. They just simply will not do it.
Brooks thought about it from the forecourt, will not take the shot. Guarded by Doliboa.
Boy, you can see Drew Burleson down on that block.
Takes him to the rack, missed the shot. Tapped once, twice. Here's the putback by Brooks. We mentioned Bernard Hollins. Needs a half dozen points to get to the number 7 spot, but he's not quite in range of number 5. You know who number 5 is, right?
Who's that?
I don't know. You might be him, right? It's out of bounds. It'll stay up front.
Well, I'll tell you that. At one point I think I was 2nd or 3rd, but it's with a lot of pride. You like to see yourself drop farther and farther down the list. That means there's been a lot of good players come into this program. And we've certainly had our share.
Here's Hollins with under 8 to play here in this ball game. Drives into the paint, throws up a floater, goes glass, no good. And a stoppage in play.
Boy, Todd Licklider really has to be beside himself. The Raiders are just wearing his guys out on the offensive glass. Flat out wearing them out. You got Drew Burleson in there pounding, getting second shots. They put him on the bench. They come back with Bova. He starts right where Drew left off. We'll watch it again on the replay. A little pick and roll with Bernard and Seth. Bernard gets it off the glass a little too strong, but there's Bova, and they're battling. One arm being held down, he's just battling.
Vovas, bonus try coming up. You talk about domination on the glass. Here it is, 36-20 in favor of Wright State.
Now Butler's been out rebounded a few times this season, but boy, I'm sure they didn't think it was going to happen tonight with this magnitude.
We're under 8 to play in this contest, and the Raiders own a 16-point lead, 45-29. Back with more when we return on Time Warner Sports. Is your score at the Nutter Center with 7 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in this contest, along with Mark Vest on Geoff Kim. Wright State looking to go 2-0 in the Horizon League, and a loss here would drop the Butler Bulldogs to 0-2. And it's been domination by Wright State, in particular one player. A double-double effort so far tonight by Seth Doliboa.
Seth Doliboa, 15 points and 10 rebounds. And his counterpart, the other senior on this team, Bernard Hollins, not far behind. 6 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Pretty good showing, great senior leadership, something that Paul Biancardi and his staff becoming very, very accustomed to.
Now, the Bulldogs have handled the ball a lot better. Only 11 turnovers so far in, through this under 8 of the ball game, but they just cannot shoot the ball. Only 13 of 39 from the floor.
Yeah, they've really struggled. 2 of 15 from behind the arc. Very uncharacteristic for a Butler team. It's happened to them most of the year. They're about 38.5% from the field, 31% from behind the arc, so they've struggled offensively all year. Tonight's just been a little worse.
Parker finds Horan, top of your screen. Now Horan's left wide open for 3, no good. Rebound Monserrat, puts it back and 1. A strong effort by Mike Monserrat. It might be a little late, but he'll go to the line an old-fashioned three-point try.
That's just power basketball down there. When he saw the long shot coming from the perimeter, he made room for himself. There's the shot on the perimeter. You'll see the ball come long. And there he gets a little push on Seth Doliboa, gets him out of the way, and then goes strong, kisses it off the glass. Nice power move right there by the senior from Moeller High School in Cincinnati.
Completes the old-fashioned three-point try, and it's now 45-32. Hollins taking his time in between the circles. Cook on the elbow. Doliboa options himself, takes it to the rack. 17 in the book for Doliboa.
A lot of motion, a lot of patience that time by the Raiders, not forcing anything and realizing, hey, if we take our time and do what we do, we'll get everything we want. Raiders back up 15.
Monserrat gives it up. It's Lightfoot. Cross-court passing, long-range 3, in, out, and out again, and Doliboa clears. Scores 11.
That has just been their evening. In and out once, bounces, in and out again. Tough night shooting the ball for the Butler Bulldogs.
6.5 to play in this contest. 47-32. Wood plays Cook, sets a screen for nobody in particular. Now we'll hold on to it for Doliboa.
Shot clock at 10.
Hollins gets a screen from Doliboa. Now we'll spot up from long range, no good. And we've got some contact off the ball.
We got a double personal foul, I believe, on Monserrat and Bova that time. Banging each other on the glass.
Got a double foul called on the Bulldogs, number 21, Avery Sheets, and the Raiders, number 24,
Avery Sheets, rather. picks up the personal foul.
That's the third on Sheets and the fourth on Severovas. So Boba will come out of the ball game.
Sheets has really struggled here tonight. A lot of things he likes to do is shoot threes, handle the basketball. The Raiders have not allowed him to do that. He's done a good job of pressuring the ball when it's in his hands.
Parker finding Horan. 15 on the shot. The dump off to Monterey. Penetrates and wave off the attempt. Foul against Hollins.
You see, Bernard, they're asking the question. That's one of those situations. What else am I supposed to do? I'm sliding my feet. He continues to make contact. That's a call we've gotten all night long.
The referees have been consistent with it. Lightfoot will come out, and Brian Legan will come back in for Butler.
Boy, Dwayne Lightfoot, 3 points on the evening and 1 rebound. Really struggled for Todd Licklider.
And a takeaway.
Great job that time collapsing on Monterey.
Wood out of the pack, goes up with the floater and scores.
Boy, Deshaun Wood is killing Butler in transition. Absolutely killing them in transition. They're expecting him to give the ball up, pull out, pass it, kick it to Bernard. Now Monterey turns it over, travels with it.
Cincinnati product guilty of steps. Wright State looking to up their 17-point lead. It's 49-32. Wood gets a nice screen from Burleson.
That a little extra added muscle. Drew Burleson can probably set a pretty nice screen these days.
Wood will handle. Under 5 to play in this contest. Goes into the lane, throws up a floater, and it's misdirected and taken down by Legan.
Raiders with a 17-point lead, under 5.
Here's Nick Brooks, fires it up, no good, and Doliboa collects his 12th rebound.
Boy, a bunch of white shirts around the basketball that time. They realize how important the defensive glass is down the final 4.5 minutes in this one.
Hollins finding Cook. Bernard will handle it. Under 15 on the shot. The dump off down low and the takeaway.
Bernard,
looking for Burleson down on the block.
Yeah, Bernard waited too long that time. He waited too long. Drew had his man sealed, had him on his backside.
Monterey will spot 3. He'll knock it down.
He's a guy you can't leave. He's not going away.
Timeout is charged to Wright State. It's only a 30-second timeout. We'll hold things right here with 3 minutes, 54 seconds remaining in this contest, 49-35. Now, barring a complete collapse by the Raiders, they'll up their record to 4-7 on the season and 2-0 in the contest. Butler, right now in their current position, would drop to 4-7 and 0-2 in the conference. Now, with UIC also dropping to 0-2 tonight, this changes a lot of things here in the conference.
Oh, it's wide open. It's going to be wide open. It leaves the door open for people like Detroit, and Wright State. I mean, as you continue to improve, you stay perfect in the league, and good things can happen. You beat the tough teams that you need to beat. You beat them here on your home floor. When you go on the road, it's a dogfight. You hope to split on the road, and then let the chips fall where they may. And so far, the Raiders have done just what they needed to do.
There was some concern on how Wright State would do rebounding-wise coming into this ball game. In fact, when they've been out-rebounded, they're 0-6. No danger of that tonight.
Well, the nice thing about Wright State when it comes to rebounding is, they may be a little undersized on the front line, but their guards will go and rebound. Bernard Hollins will rebound with the best of any guards you can find anywhere. It takes a lot of pressure off your big people if your guards rebound.
What the dump off? Doliboa leans in, throws up a shot, no good. Burleson collects, plays back out to Wood. Ball did not touch the rim, so you got 10 on the shot. Here's Hollins on the dribble, step around and throws it away.
Got to take your time with the basketball. Bernard just trying to be too fancy, just make the easy pass. You don't have to make the great pass, just make the easy pass. Butler will give you enough opportunities.
Wide double screen set up top for Butler. Parker will handle. He'll fire it up from long range, and he'll hit. And all of a sudden, the threes are starting to fall down like rain for the Bulldogs.
Well, that's what we talked about. They can score in bunches. Now they're extending some defense. Got their athletic team on the floor. James Parker, 6-foot guard out of Chicago, really can get after somebody off or defensively with his quickness.
Cook finds Burleson. Now out to Doliboa. Gives it up, Wood, the kick out. Cook drives baseline, lost it, got it back, throws it up and in. Presence of mind for the freshman, Alex Cook.
Big finish right there. Well, I'll tell you, not many walk-ons any better than that kid right there. He's come up big for Paul Biancardi.
Double screen. Here's the shot from Parker. No good. Loose ball, chased out of bounds. It'll belong to Wright State.
Great hustle there, Mike Monterey. You see him on the floor.
2 minutes, 18 seconds to the conclusion of this one, and Wright State might have this one in hand. They lead it 51-38. Timeout right here. We'll come back with the conclusion on Time Warner Sports. 51-38 is your score at the Nutter Center, and the battle of the boards has belonged to Wright State throughout this entire contest. And Mark, I mean, what a difference just rebounding makes in this contest.
Well, 40-23 in favor of the Raiders. 17 rebounds. It doesn't get much better than that, especially against a team historically that rebounds basketball very well in Butler. The Raiders have come out and they knew they needed to rebound in basketball. They couldn't give second opportunities. And, you know, more often than not, the Raiders have taken it off the glass and they've gone with it. And they've really pushed the ball up the floor. 12 fast break points in this game. So they've done a great job finishing out their defense by ripping it off the defensive glass and not allowing second opportunities for Butler Bulldogs.
Subsequently, points in the paint has also been a big bonus for Wright State.
Yeah, Raiders, 38 of their 51 points have come in the paint. It doesn't get any better than that. When you work to get that high percentage of a shot that you're scoring in the paint, good things are going to happen.
Here's Doliboa with the ball, takes it across the half-court line.
Butler extending the defense as you knew they would have to do. In a man-to-man defense, extended out all over the floor. Shot clock under 20.
He sets a screen for Wood. 10 on the shot clock. Wood rolls off the backside screen, finds Doliboa, thought about three, now puts it up from the free throw line, no good.
But you burn a lot of time. Raiders get down to a minute 40. Seth Doliboa with a nice look at the basket.
Regan sets a screen for Horan. Plays back, Brooks puts it on the floor. Jump stop in the lane, to the rack, no good.
Burleson again, rebounding the basketball. That's 5 now in the evening for Drew Burleson.
Fans appreciative of the effort of the Raiders.
Monterey, pretty proficient at the free throw line. 88%, 30 out of 34 coming in this game. The two seniors.
Bernard Holland, Seth Doliboa get the curtain call.
They get their exit. There you see Paul Biancardi, I'm sure, telling them, fellas, you led us to the promised land again tonight.
No good. And it belongs to Wright State. Full court pressure being shown by the Bulldogs with 19.2 seconds left to play in this contest.
Butler with a lot of pressure. You got to put the ball in your point guard's hands. Deshaun has done a great job here this evening handling the basketball. And boy, this time down, no different.
Wood handles, hands it off to Cook. Cook nearly lost it, now did lose it. Monterey picks it up, takes it across half court, fires one up at the buzzer. Shot is no good. See you later. Final score at the Nutter Center. Wright State 51, the Butler Bulldogs 39. Wright State improves to 4-7 on the season, 2-0 in the Horizon League. Butler falls to a record of 4-7 and goes to 0-2 in the league. And a big difference on the boards tonight.
Well, it really was. Raiders out rebounding Butler by 17, 43-26. Neither team shot the ball extremely well, but the Raiders and the Bulldogs take pretty good care of the basketball. 13 turnovers apiece, and the Raiders just scored when they had to score and didn't give second opportunities.
Again, your final here at the Nutter Center. Wright State 51, Butler 39. Mark and I will come back and wrap things up in just a moment.
Wright State University basketball is brought to you by Pepsi, Cub Foods, Dodge, Wright State University, Morris Home Furnishings, MVP Magazine, and by the Yellow Book.
51-39 is your score at the Nutter Center. A fine effort by a very young Wright State Raiders team as they move to 2-0 in the Horizon League.
Well, it really was, and they just battled, Jeff, plain and simple. They battled from start to finish. They win the battle on the boards. They play good, tough defense. They shoot the ball well when they have to, and they took care of the basketball with only 13 turnovers.
Of course, senior leadership really stood out for Wright State in the form of Seth Doliboa, 8 of 8 of 18 shooting from the floor. An all-around game, however, 17 points and 12 boards.
Yeah, the 17 points, 12 rebounds. Bernard Holland, 6 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Struggled from the field, 3 of 13, had some tough shots. And you could tell defensively, Butler really wanted to take him out of the game, and they did just that, shooting the ball, but Bernard did some other things for us.
And let's go ahead and get a look at the final numbers here. As we wrap things up here at the Nutter Center, again, you see the score and the rebounding margin, very huge for the Raiders tonight.
Well, that's probably the telling stat right there. 43-26 in favor of the Raiders on route to their 12-point win, 51-39. The Raiders shoot 42% from the field, Butler 33. We talked about it all night long. Butler just couldn't throw it in the ocean, and that was the thing that ultimately cost them the basketball game. Both teams really struggled from the free throw line. Butler wins that 60-58%, and we talked about taking care of the basketball, 13 turnovers apiece. So it comes down to rebounding. You know, you got to rip it off the glass, and the Raiders won it on the glass.
And give Butler credit. They handled the ball very well in the second half. They just, as you said, couldn't throw it in the ocean. Yeah,
they had some great looks at the basket. They had some good looks early in the game and just couldn't get them to go. And the Raiders did a nice job of not giving them a second opportunity to use that athleticism and stick it back.
How about the play of Deshaun Wood? I know he played the point tonight, and he didn't get any credit for an official assist, but he handled the ball very well.
Well, you know, you talk about a lot of the stats that don't end up in the paper. Deshaun's got a list of those stats as long as his arm. You know, how many freshman point guard are getting to play, and with the pressure that's being put on him around this country, there's not a whole lot of them, but Deshaun has done a great job. I thought he did an excellent job of scoring in transition tonight. The Raiders, with the ability to get the ball off the glass, kicked it out, and they ran with it, and Deshaun scored several times in transition. Big game for the freshman point guard.
The game high in scoring was Seth Doliboa, 17 points. The team high for Butler was Nick Brooks coming off the bench, 4 of 9 shooting from the floor, 10 points.
Butler with only one player in double figures, and Mike Monserrat, the guy you really got to be concerned about, comes in averaging 17 points a game in conference game, only with 7. A couple of those right there at the end, 3-point play, really didn't matter in the whole outlook of the game, but did a nice job of taking care of him and playing him tough down on the block. Raiders win the basketball game by 12.
Well, he didn't get a lot of looks at the bucket. In fact, he only took 5 shots tonight.
Well, and you know, he's a guy that you got to look for out on the 3-point arc. He can really hurt you from out there. One of the career leaders in 3-point field goals at Butler, and you got to find him on the floor. Raiders did a nice job.
Again, your final here at the Irvin J. Nutter Center. The Wright State Raiders victorious. They move to a record of 4-7. Butler falls to a record of 4-7. The final here once more, 51-39. For Mark Vest and our entire Time Warner crew, I'm Geoff Kim, saying so long from the Nutter Center.